Welcome to the OAPN Podcast with your host, Adarsh Sakare. No bullshit, no cuts, 100% raw conversations with 0% fucks to give. We don't encourage the consumption of alcohol, but if you want to open up a cold one while you watch this, it's not a bad idea.
Welcome to episode number 90 of On a Personal Note with Adarsh Sakare. So we have officially entered into the 90s, 10 episodes away from the big 100. 89 was Rian Alaude, and that was, as always, again a very refreshing episode, something we thoroughly enjoyed watching. If you all haven't watched, you should definitely have a look. Today we have the 90th guest in the studio. Before I speak more about him, let's say hi to Shreyas Rao.
Hello.
What's up, Shreyas?
Life is up. Life's happening. Yeah, that's all it is.
How are you feeling today?
I am feeling very good. I'm feeling very artsy because I happened to visit Chitra Sante and I did very typical Bangalore things. So I feel like I'm like in the epicenter of the Bangalore cultural hub. Feel like an artist today.
But you're missing the kurta and the jute bag.
Yeah. I'm an artist who doesn't have a kurta and a jute bag.
Yeah, just a stereotype.
Yeah, it's gonna take me a while for people to take me seriously as an artist.
There you go. So Shreyass is here. I think Shreyass is definitely not new to Bangalore for sure. I think at some point or the other, I think you should have come across his content or at least seen him. Shreyass has been around for quite some time now, a good 8-9 years now.
Yeah, 9 years actually.
A good 8-9 years.
Yeah.
Shreyass has been around, and it's difficult to, sometimes we introduce people as actors, sometimes we introduce people as models, sometimes we introduce people as RJs or whatever, right? But I think Shreyass is also, he's one of them that belongs to a group of people who has a lot of talent. And that's what it is.
Yeah,
and he's enjoyed his journey, whether it's making content for his radio station, or whether it's making content for himself and entertaining people, or whether it's flooding his Instagram with pictures of food.
Or myself.
Or himself or his friends. I think it's been entertaining, and there's clearly a journey that's mixed with types of content, right? Even, for example, pranks for that matter, or say getting his hands into a short film lately.
Yes, that's
I'm
correct.
aware of. Yeah. And then like he said, if he's been called on a podcast, then maybe he's just made it, and maybe that's
true.
what it is. Yeah.
That's true. Being invited on a podcast is my only criteria to call myself successful. Like I was like until a few months, I think less than a month back, I was just like a content creator. Okay. Now I'm an established content creator because this is my second podcast, by the way.
Wow.
So I just want to tell people that I'm open to podcasts. I love talking. So call me.
Yeah, there you go. So there is this level of success and long due, right? 8-9 years is not a short time. So if Shreyass, great. This interview is going to be slightly different. We just don't dwell on the work he's done. We also kind of get into the personal story of his. If you don't know Shreyass, and maybe you've just laughed at one of his videos or one of the character sketches that he plays, great. This will give you more context of who the creator is, right? So welcome to this episode. Welcome, Shreyass.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for making it, man.
Yes, on a Sunday, it's very easy to make it anywhere in Bangalore, and thanks to Metro.
Nice. So how's life? What's going on?
What's going on? Lots of work happening, which is a good thing. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't be complaining about that. But just too much work.
Yeah,
good kind of work, all kinds of work.
And what, like, legit, you feel like some success has come your way?
Yeah, I feel like from where I started, especially when I came back to Bangalore during pandemic, I was working with a television channel before that, and then pandemic happened. I moved to Bangalore. I was working from here, and that's when I started creating content just because I was bored. It's like I always tell people, like in pandemic, people either got married or they had children, and then there's third category who became content creators. So yeah, the kids have grown up, so have I.
Same here. Even this place was born out of the pandemic.
Pandemic has.
I think that
it's been kind to some people.
It's been kind to some people and not so kind to others.
Yeah.
So, what is it? What's the tag that goes with Shreyas? Creator, actor, comic?
So, because there's just so many, like I keep getting confused on what to call myself. So, I just call myself the human form of Idli.
What? Yeah.
I am Idli. Idli is just everybody's favorite.
Just for those who haven't understood that.
Yeah, so I love idli a lot. And I realized my love for idli only after I moved to Bombay. Because I used to take idli for granted. Like how we normally take stuff for granted what you already have, right? So I was like, matlab idli is a food item that I like. But then I went to Bombay and I was struggling to find good idli. And I was like, okay, I have to make it over here. But still the batter is not the way I wanted. The chutney is not the way I wanted. I kept complaining. And then every time I used to come to Bangalore, the first thing I would do is go ahead and have idli. That kind of became a part of my being on social media, and then now I'm kind of known like for a lot of people they associate me with idli, which is a good thing. I would like to believe.
Very unique.
Yeah.
Very unique. So Shreyas, of course we'll talk about some of the cooler projects that you're part of, but was Shreyas always this extrovert or?
No, I'm still not an extrovert.
I mean, again, I think my mistake. My mistake, right? Like, I really like minus points for me to ask that question. Was Shreyas always, open to exploring talent?
No, I was not. I was not. Actually, I was a very aloof kid growing up. I changed 7 schools. So I was always like one of those.
Bangalore?
Not in Bangalore, because of my dad's central government job. We lived in in different cities. Like I've grown up in Nagpur, I've grown up in Bombay, I've grown up in Hyderabad, I've grown up in Shillong, I've grown up in which other place? That's all. Uske baad I came to Bangalore.
Which explains your hold on languages.
Maybe, yeah. So then we used to just keep moving all the time. And in some schools, some cities have changed like 2 schools. So in total, I've changed about 7 schools. So by the time I made a new friend or just figured out what's happening, we would move to a new place. So I was always like that kid who was just like lost in the classroom. I was like, okay, what's happening? Who are these people? So I never went on stage also in school. Yeah. So speaking was never a part of it. In fact, in parent-teacher meetings, they would some teachers would tell my parents saying that this boy really needs to talk. If he doesn't talk, how are we gonna like teach him some things? Like his social skills is like really low. In hell. So he needs to talk. And then I'm making up for not talking for so many years. now I'm like.
So you did schooling in Bangalore or no?
I did. I think I came here when I was in 8th grade. So 8th onwards, 8th, 9th, 10th.
Where did you go?
I went to Kendriya Vidyalaya.
Oh, KV.
Yeah.
KV is nice.
KV is nice.
KV has everything. KV has everyone.
No, KV, I'll tell you what, all types of people, what it doesn't have, and that's something that I always felt like I wanted in school, is a good canteen. I never went to a school that had canteen. Like I used to watch these some television shows or one of these films, right, where they show such fancy schools and they eat like samosa or noodles in their canteen, and I'm like, nothing. Yeah, I really struggled in life. I never had a canteen.
That was the beginning of the struggle.
Yeah, no canteen or not even a fancy school uniform. I mean, when I was studying, it was that white shirt and a navy blue pant, and that's it. Not even like a tie.
Nice. So after that, what happened? After say second grade, I mean second PU.
After second PU. Okay, here's a revelation. I failed my second PU.
Oh, you failed?
Yeah, I failed, but I passed after that. But in arts, different subjects. So what happened is, like any other parents, my parents
took like a whole new.
Yeah, because I didn't have a choice, bro.
What did you fail in? Which subjects?
Subject PCM. So I took PCMB. Only B I passed.
B was easy.
Yeah.
B was easy.
PCM, it's like single digit marks. Yeah. PCM, like I got single digit marks. I got 3 out of 100 in maths.
Oh, like the board exam?
Yeah.
Wow.
And my parents were like,
no, all differentiation, integration, everything.
Nothing I know. I literally went there. I was singing songs in my head because my parents were like, my parents told me that they're gonna wait for me outside the exam hall to pick me up from. So I was like, I can't go get out in like 1 hour and be like, I finished my exam. So I was 3 hours. I'm just sitting there and doing nothing because I didn't know any answer, and then I failed. And then I wrote my 12th as a private student in arts. So then I passed with flying colors.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what, on the road to the final exam, you didn't realize that you're going to fail or what?
I knew all the way. I think my parents were delusional. Like, I actually told them saying that please, can you stop, assuming that I'm going to make it through this one. Like, There's no chance. Like, why? But they're like, no, you never know. Like, miracles happen. No,
They don't.
not here.
Not with Shreyas.
Exactly. I was like, no, that's not gonna happen. So I knew all the way that this is inevitable. I am gonna fail.
Inevitable. And then you passed, and then what did you take on?
And then I studied mass communications in Manipal. And then I started working right after.
You also went to Manipal.
Yeah, I'm from Manipal.
Our latest Manipal reel has got 2 million views.
Yeah, nice.
Very controversial reel.
I have no controversies. I was at first bencher in Manipal. So, yeah.
Wow, this is anyway.
Yeah, so I studied. Then I was like a very good student at all. Like I got one of the
because
rank
like
holders.
you woke up,
Yeah, and because that's exactly what I wanted to do. Then my parents also were like, see, now you.
or rather your parents woke up.
Yeah, they woke up actually. Then they're like, okay, now that you have taken subjects that you like, you better do well in this. I was like, yeah.
Now there's no.
Now if I had done anything, they would have just thrown me out of the house. They were like, just go.
Nadi saak you
Yeah,
are.
Sako.
So you are a Kannadiga.
Yes, I'm a Kannadiga.
But your Hindi and all is solid.
Yeah, my Hindi is good. My English also is good.
Wow, that is like pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And that's pretty awesome. And then after degree, what was
After degree, I immediately started working. I couldn't wait.
Where did you start?
I started working. I worked for very brief time in Big FM, which was a retro station at that time. 4 months I worked there.
104?
No, that was 92.7. Yes.
92.
From there, I moved to Fever, which is I worked there for 2 years, and then there was Viacom for 5 years, and now there's Mirchi.
Okay, but why radio though? I mean,
So
how did
radio
that
is
happen?
actually kind of what made me realize that I could actually do something in this field. Until then, I don't think I had an ambition in life. I think my parents had an ambition in life for me that he'll be a doctor, because my grandfather was a doctor. So they thought, okay, maybe he'll be a good doctor.
That's why PCM.
Yeah, PCA. They were like, abhi to doctor to banna hai. But then I think in 8th grade when I first moved to Bangalore, and I heard private radio for the first time, which was Radio City back then, and I heard the morning RJ speak in a very beautiful way. This was in 2000.
And what were you studying?
I was in 8th grade.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you had like this thing towards radio.
Yeah, so I heard radio, and I heard this RJ called Vasanti Hari Prakash, who is I really look up to her. And I heard her, and she was just like having fun talking. Like she was talking about, and I'm a big fan of Shreya Ghoshal, and she also gets to play music that she likes, kind of a thing, right? So I thought this is ideal existence. Like nobody can see you, but you're sitting somewhere and talking and playing music, and you get paid for it. So why not? So 8th standard, I just decided saying that I think I'm going to be a radio jockey. So that's all. That was the decision that I had taken in 8th grade, and that continued. But technically, I've never been a radio jockey. So
What that is? Are you okay with that, or that was a dream that didn't happen?
that was a dream that didn't happen. I always wanted to be a radio jockey.
I'm asking, does it hurt? Like, is that what it
Sometimes it does, but I also come to terms with the fact that maybe that didn't happen because there were other things that were probably waiting to happen. Because every time I applied to a radio station, my application was very clear that I want to be a radio jockey. And there are many people who told me that, you can't be a radio jockey. It's just somehow you don't have that in you to become a radio jockey. So it's like, what is it? I recorded like so many demos to kind of prove that maybe it's possible or something. But nobody took me as a radio jockey. They were like, you can be a great producer. I said, okay, fine. I'll join as a producer and one day I'll become a radio jockey. Then they were like, okay, do the music for the station that's into strategy and music management and all that. I was like, okay, but I also want to be a radio jockey. And by the time then I got a new job. Then I was like, when I'm not becoming a radio jockey, might as well move somewhere else. That's where I moved to Bombay to be in a place where I don't have to be a radio jockey or I'm not going to chase my bosses to say that ek din mujhe show de do types. So that happened. And then even when Mirchi, I actually interviewed them hoping that they kind of offer me to become a radio jockey, but they were like, no, but I think you'll make a great content leader. So I was like, okay, fine. If that's what it is, so
No, but in my opinion, like you can be an RJ.
You can be. I can be.
You
Okay.
can. I think I.
You're the only person who said it.
No, like legit, I don't know what's the reason why.
I
people
still
are
don't
feeling
know.
that. No,
I still
because
don't know.
like if I've met a few very good RJs, and you fit the.
I fit, no? I don't know why.
Yeah, you fit.
Maybe at that time I was not so talkative. I don't know what it was. But there are people who actually told me that you can't be a radio jockey. Like they've told this to me on my face.
Maybe they don't know the side of you. Is that what it is?
Maybe. I don't know. It's like that Adhura Sapna.
Azura.
It'll always,
No,
it's
it's
okay.
also this. No, it's like there are better there are better plans sometimes, no?
Yeah.
Which you may not be aware of.
Maybe.
Like, see, I'll give you an example. There are many radio jockeys who wish to be making content like you, but they are not able to. See, today every RJ wants to make content. All the content that you're making is the content RJs want to make, but they're not able to make it.
Wow.
And this is the reality, bro. How many RJs today? Because everyone's want to pivot the image, right?
Correct.
They don't want to be just a voice anymore.
Of course,
And somewhere you escaped that, bittersweet thing about being an RJ.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's a good way to look at it.
The sweet stuff of being the RJ is you get like platform, you get people there. The bitter thing is your face is never known.
Correct.
And somewhere you're able to break that.
That's true. I think now when I look at it, I'm like, okay, maybe it happened because there were other things that was probably waiting to happen. But it'll always be that thing like I never became a radio jockey.
Yeah, it's okay. I think bigger things. I think we all have. I think we all have something like that.
Correct. So now all the RJs kind of reported to me, so I'm like, I'm the boss. But I get to do shows once in a while, so I really enjoy it. Like if any RJ wants to go or leave, I think nobody has to bat an eyelid to come and ask me, can I take off? I'm like, you take off, I'm gonna fill in for you. I'm the happiest doing that.
So the first job was what? What did you have to do?
So first job, I joined as a radio producer for a show called Mad Mornings on Fever, which was hosted by Shraddha at that time. Shraddha. Yeah, so I was producing that show. So that was my first job. So basically like to research for all the content, get people on the show to make sure that, you plan activities for the shows, you make your calendar. And that's when also I kind of started doing social media content, but for the radio station. So I was in a way one of those first people who kind of started introducing videos through a radio platform. So the first video that we made, Shraddha and I made, was about the Avrekal Mela, which blew out of proportion. And like nobody even saw that kind of numbers ever on Facebook at that point in time. So that's when we were like, okay, there is something in video also. So that's where that's what I did in Fever for like 2 years.
And I think somewhere now all those things also have given you the motivation to continue to make content.
Like I always tell, radio is a great base for everything because radio teaches you life. That sounds very philosophical when I say it.
Wow.
But radio is a great platform because you as a solo person, right, whether you're a radio jockey or a producer, you're doing everything. You're writing for your own show, you're researching for your own show, you are also like managing the audio part of it, the technical part of it while you're doing the own show. So you're a multitasker and you're thinking, and if you think of it, short format content that we talk about today, about 1 minute content, private radio has been doing it for the longest time in India, where links are like 45 seconds and in the like traffic updates are like 15 seconds or whatever. So short format content, I think radio is a great base for for writing and to connect with people, because it's the only medium which is like the content chief content officer at Mirchi always says is radio is a heart medium. So it's all heart.
It's all heart. Yeah, that's true. And people never forget that.
Absolutely.
People never forget that. And your parents are happy now?
Yeah, they're very happy. They are so happy that sometimes this other day, like a few weeks back, we were at a wedding reception, and then so there were a lot of people who were like coming up to me and talking to me and all. So we go up on stage to wish the new couple and all, and then the couple ke baaju mein there's this person who's like, I think I've seen you somewhere. And my dad's like, he's a celebrity. Yes, of course you're saying. I'm like, can you not say these things? Like, just don't say it. Don't say it. It's okay. They'll figure it out, or even if they don't, it's fine. But you don't have to say it aloud that I'm a celebrity. Just say that he makes videos on Instagram or something. So yeah.
And I mean, has that happened though? People recognizing you
all the time, and it's a very good feeling. Even in Chitrasante right now, where I'm just coming from the art festival, right? Even there, like a lot of people in every few steps that we were taking, there were people who were coming up to me for pictures or just saying like they really like my content, and they all spoke to me about how they all had idli in the morning. So that was very sweet.
Imagine the influence.
Yeah. So that was like, I was like, wow, like somebody just walking up to you and just saying, where do you have idli today? Because I had idli. And they were like, yahan pe there's this place called Kamat. I had idli over there. You should probably go check it out. I'm like, sure.
So those, after the first job at the radio station, where did you move?
I moved to Bombay.
So how did that move?
That happened out of fluke, I guess, because I mean, I had put out on LinkedIn that I'm working in Fever, and my friend Divya, she was the music manager at Fever, and she went on a maternity break, and she trained me to do music for the station. And I was like, okay, I was really enjoying taking care of the music part because I really like Bollywood music and all that. So I did that for 7 months, and I had put that on LinkedIn. And Viacom reached out saying that they are starting off this new music channel called MTV Beats, and they would want to interview me. And I was like, why would a channel based in Bombay, that too MTV, reach out to a guy in Bangalore asking him to move to Bombay to do music for a national platform? Like, this is like, the math didn't make sense to me. Like, if I was anywhere close to the hiring process over there, I would have just rejected myself on LinkedIn platform itself. But then they were like, we want to talk to you. So I had a telephonic call for about 15 minutes, and I screwed up that entire interview. Like, I said stuff like, yeah, I know this, I know that. I said, I know MTV Indies. And my super boss was like, that shut a few months back. I was like, oh, I wasn't aware. So that went on. That was not like the best call ever. But then they somehow called me to Bombay. They said, we'll fly you down to Bombay for an interview. I said, chalo, I'll go travel for a day and just come back. Like, that feeling of just going to another city for just one day and somebody else is paying for your tickets. I was like, wow. Never happened before. So I went to Bombay in the morning, and I thought it's going to be like one of those roadies interview type, because MTV image is all that, right? So I thought it's going to be a really grilling interview where they're going to ask me some really crazy questions, and I knew for a fact that I'm going to not get this job.
Not get the job.
Yeah, I was
I've just gone to try.
I'm just like, I've gone to Bombay to eat vada pav and to meet a friend of mine. That's all. I'm like, itna hi karna hai, aur kuch karna nahi hai mujhe. I just want to go there, chill and come back, because this job I'm definitely not getting. Because I know radio stations in Bombay that have music managers who could have got that job and who are definitely more deserving. So I just went there assuming that it's going to be a really long interview and it's going to take the entire day. And it was exactly 7 minutes long interview. I just literally sat for the first 3 minutes. It was about exchanging pleasantries. How was your flight? How was Bangalore? How was Bombay? What do you think? What do you think? And they were like, okay, cool. Join us ASAP. I'm like, what? What? Like, what do you mean? They're like, just join us. I mean, yeah, I think we're good to go. You just have to figure out your place and all. And 2 months and all, we can't wait. See if you can come in the next 15 days. I said, okay, this is sounding a little funny to me. What's up? And then, but yeah, I mean, when I saw the offer letter, I was like, fine, let's do this. Yeah. And I just moved.
And how long did you stay at that place?
I lived in Bombay for 3 years, but I worked with Viacom for 5 because 2 years was pandemic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this was for Viacom.
Yes.
Okay. And you started as what? Like,
I started as a music manager. So as a music manager, what you technically do is, like, if you had to put it in the most basic words, you manage a playlist for a radio station or TV, a music station. So basically you decide what plays at 8 o'clock today, and there's a lot of science and math involved in that. Like, 2 subjects that I'm bad at, but it's basically like you shouldn't repeat the same album. You kind of see what song kind of makes the cut to the TV channel and what doesn't. Out of 5 songs from an album, you'll probably pick the first 2 big hit songs, and then you decide what time they should be playing, how many times they should play in a day, and you know with what other songs they kind of make sense. So that's pretty much what a music programmer does. And then you also decide what kind of specials you want to do, the countdown. So it's like a proper job. It's like a proper legit job. So I started off as that, and then one fine day my boss, it was April somewhere, and there were ideas of doing some short vignettes about pranks. And they did that with a bunch of people, and then they were watching that. They were somehow not completely convinced with the way it was looking. So my bosses looked at me and say, why don't you try this guy? And they were like, this guy doesn't know proper Hindi. They were like, yeah, but he has a cute face, so he might just be able to. There was literally, they were like, try करते हैं ना, try करने में क्या जाता है? अभी पैसे तो देने नहीं है इसको extra. So let's just try. So I was like, wow, we're gonna shoot for a TV show. So I went and shot, and somehow they all liked it, and they were like, okay, you start doing pranks. Then I started doing pranks, and then there were a lot of artists who were coming into the station for a channel for interviews and promoting their music. So they were like, one day they were like, one evening. It was a Wednesday evening, I remember. I was going back home, and somebody from the marketing team calls me saying that, so tomorrow Badshah is coming with a bunch of kids because he has a song. So will you do the interview? It's a Facebook Live. I was like, okay. I mean, Okay, sure,
Fine,
let's do it. So I prepared all night. Like I'm thinking like what all questions to ask. I'm listening to other interviews of Badshah to ask him, okay, what can I ask? And then next morning I see him with a bunch of kids and we just had a blast. And then like, Asha, now you do interviews also. So I was like, okay, I'll do interviews also. And that happened. So interviews, pranks, the regular job that I was doing. And then one day they're like, okay, cool. So now we have to promote you also at some point. So then they were like, okay, now you start heading programming for VH1. So I was like, okay, cool. So I just started doing a bunch of things. And then, that was my 5 years.
So this was the real growth.
Yeah. So that was...
Viacom was where Shreyas grew.
Exactly. Because they were like... Then in my head, I'm thinking, so there are people who thought I could not be on radio as a radio jockey. But here are people who think I can be on TV. Being like a VJ. So there were actually people who were calling me VJ Rao and all. Just to... And they were serious about it. They were like, you are... And then we did another bunch of shows with MTV roadies, like auditions kind of stuff that we went to Chandigarh, Pune and all. So if anything that had to do with, shoot somewhere, they would just be like, okay, Shreyas will host it. Just take Shreyas and go.
They paid you well.
Yeah, I mean, monthly salary was good.
Was it paying for things?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Like Viacom was helping grow not just in terms of designations and job, but also in terms of money. Because also I was moving to Bombay, right? So I was like, how am I gonna survive this city or this one? So
they did sort you out.
Yeah. To a very, very large extent. So I was well paid. Yeah.
How was it meeting all these celebrities? And again, I think this is the nice part of it, right? It's like the perk we get.
Yeah, but there's also a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes that that kind of makes you feel like, okay, it's not such a big deal also.
Yeah.
It's
a business.
Yeah, of course.
At the end of the day, it's a business.
It is at the end of the day business. But the actors over there are like, I mean, it's a proper job. There are a number of people who work with the entourage, with just managing who's gonna come in at what time. And we used to, as a radio station in Bangalore, whenever there used to be celeb walk-ins, right, we would always wait for hours together to get 2 minutes of the actor's time, because they would come down to Bangalore for promotion. They would have a mall event or a college event or something of those sorts. They would have a press conference, and in the middle they would literally give us like 5 minutes. Like I've been to interviews where they would be like, "Acha, 2 minutes mein khatam kar lo." And just with 2 minutes, what do you ask? But then we would just be like, okay, we need to crack something in those 2 minutes. Cut to Bombay, they're like, 1 ghanta chahiye, okay, 45 minutes, take it. I'm like, wow, this is unreal.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, you have to wait for a long time for interviews to happen. Like I remember this one time we had to interview Salman Khan, and then the wait was almost for like hours together. He came in much later with Shah Rukh also. Like you don't know how much time they're gonna take to figure out stuff. Everybody's working like backwards. Everybody's like, okay, now this time you get so much time. These questions are gonna be okay. These questions are not okay. You can't ask these. You can't ask that. It's crazy. So by the time you get a picture, and then everybody wants a picture. Like I used to also be like, I want a picture with. I could never get
everyone wants a picture.
Yeah, so I got a picture with Salman Khan. I was like, wow. Okay. I could never get a picture with Shah Rukh Khan, but he did make fun of me in a theater. So I'm like, okay, that's my claim to fame.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah.
So top 5 celebrities that you're excited about meeting?
Shreya Ghoshal always. Yeah. She's like
your
sister. I literally call her Shreya Didi, and she's like, she really means a lot to me. So she's my like all-time favorite celebrity. Like even now, like whenever I have something to kind of to be proud of, I always message her saying that this is what has happened, and she's always been very kind to kind of
acknowledge.
Yeah, always. So she's number 1. Second one would be Shah Rukh Khan for sure. I love Shah Rukh. He's like the best. I also like who else do you like? Ranveer also is kind of like a good celebrity. Like I kind of like follow his interviews and all that. He's there. Alia Bhatt. And who else? Who else do I really like? Wow. I like a lot of musicians. So if I don't really like
get both of them together.
5th one would be Karan Johar. Yeah.
So these are your like top 5.
Yeah.
You would say.
Yeah.
So Mumbai happens.
Yes.
Viacom happens. You've spent a good 5 years.
Yes.
What happened? There's a good amount of growth that has happened as well. Now, what are the dreams looking like? I mean, at that point, I'm saying after Viacom.
After Viacom, it was a blur for a while because pandemic was happening.
Okay, so which means what? You left.
I didn't leave. We started working from home and I came to Bangalore because Bangalore is home,
Okay.
right? So I was like, I remember they announced work from home the same day I booked my tickets. I was like, what if the flight stop or something? So I took a flight. I literally came home without my laptop. Like I did the most stupidest thing in the world by not carrying my laptop. I was like, it's a matter of 10 days or something. I'll use my brother's laptop or some laptop at home and figure it out. Little did I know that I had to get my stuff, what is it called? Movers and packers. I literally called them on the phone with them. I'm telling you, okay, pack this, pack that, put that here, and then got it here. So that happened. So there was a blur for a little while. I was like, we were all trying to figure out what was happening in the beginning of the pandemic. Then work was happening, of course, because the channel grew at that time because there were a lot of people at home watching, right?
Wow.
So, of course, in terms of the work, there was always work. But then I was like, okay, what else do I do in Bangalore sitting at home? So that's when I was like, okay, now that, we were doing a bunch of Instagram live and all that jazz. But then I was like, what for myself? Then I started putting out a little bit of content thinking, okay, let's see where this goes. Reels had just come in and I had sworn to myself that I will never be on TikTok. So TikTok never happened. But then Reels, the minute TikTok version came on Reels, I was like, this looks kind of doable. So I started doing Reels at that point in time. And then that's it.
And when did the shift happen from that from Viacom to the present radio
to
station?
Mirchi. So that also happened again very organically. Like it was literally like pandemic was kind of getting over. Second wave had kind of started to like fizzle out, and then we were kind of all thinking that work will start again from this one. And by that time I was like, I don't want to go back to Bombay. I was like, I've tasted comfort now, and I can't go back to staying in Bombay. I don't know if I should make a move back there. I was very confused as to I was very clear of not going back to Bombay. So I was like, if work from home becomes a permanent thing, then great. Otherwise, I'll have to look for something over here. And then Mirchi just happened. Like I literally got a message one day on Instagram saying that, what are you doing these days? Can we talk? I was like, okay, cool, let's talk. So that job also happened out of like a couple of that was actually a little bit of a grilling sessions of interviews, but it was fun. And then I got the job. I was like, okay, now it makes sense. I get to stay back in Bangalore, and I also kind of get a job over here. So I just
that's where the shift happened.
Yes.
And now there's no plans of going back to Mumbai.
No, I keep going to Bombay because I have a lot of friends over there now, and of course some shoots and all that happens in Bombay. But otherwise, do I want to move back to Bombay? No, unless I'm like staying in one of those really nice sea-facing apartments and somebody's like paying for me to be taken care of. Then yes, otherwise no. Otherwise, no. Bangalore is where I see myself.
I don't think it's easy to stay in Mumbai.
It's not. It's a very it's a city that kind of like, I don't know how to say this, but I could never feel at home over there. It was like I used to always see people, running. Also, the kind of place I was staying in, you share your apartment with, or you can't obviously afford a 2 BHK or a 1 BHK for yourself. I couldn't at that time. So I was sharing an apartment. I was like not happy with the whole, because I've never even shared a room with my brother. But I always had my own room. So suddenly I'm like sharing an apartment with people I don't know. Of course, they're all nice friends, but at the end of the day, you're like space.
Yeah.
Not everything looks so pretty. You don't get good idli. So I used to whine a lot. I used to come to Bangalore very often. So often that my parents were literally like, this guy lives in Bangalore but works in Bombay. Because every second weekend I used to be in Bangalore.
Bangalore, you would come back.
Yeah, every second weekend. So I used to collect all my boarding passes, and I had like so many of them. Like 3 years is a lot of time. Like 12
you
months.
Kept traveling up and down.
Every second week I used to be in Bangalore, and and also because my home used to be close to Bangalore airport at that time, and my office in Bombay was 15 minutes away from the airport. So I would literally leave from Bangalore on a Monday morning, reach Bombay, and get to work directly. Yeah,
that's some real love for a city.
Yeah. It was crazy. I was like, like Friday I used to leave, and my bosses used to be like, "What is up with this guy? Like, why don't you save the same money?" I'm like, I don't want to. I want to go.
Wow. And how's the current work treating you?
Oh, amazing. Like, I'm not saying this because I still work there and because I have a podcast, but it is the best place I've ever worked in.
What are the things that you're enjoying doing now?
I enjoy working with the kind of people over here. I think that way Mirchi is one of those places that that actually feels like home without, and they don't talk about it like it's not like HR policy thing. It's a family. They actually treat people like family, but they don't say stuff like this. There's something called as we have very flexible working hours. So I work from 8 in the morning and I get done by like 3:34 on days, and then it's very chill. People let you do what you want, what you kind of want to do. Bosses are super chill. Like I've not fought with anybody in the last 2 years.
Wow.
So that either means I'm doing a great job or really people really don't care about me. But it's what it is. I really, really enjoy working here. It doesn't feel like work. So that's, I think, the greatest feeling of working over here now. I'm in a very good zone.
And how does this work with the creating content? Like, does it go, I mean, hand in hand? Or?
They're two very different things because it's... it's radio and what I do is on digital platforms first of all, and plus radio is also like there are other radio jockeys who kind of do the job that they have to do, and I also make sure that I don't like spend all my working days. Monday to Friday is not when I'm doing mostly content.
Okay.
So I kind of dedicate my evenings for content, or my weekends. Weekends is when I normally shoot, and yeah. So it's kind of
it's 2 jobs.
It's 5 jobs actually, but yeah, because I'm also writing at the same time. I also do stand-up gigs. I'm also part of the...
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, it's a little weird to call myself a stand-up comedian because I've not done as many shows as people really do. But I mean,
but you're
I still do.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how has that been, being a comic, or say
It's fun because
making people laugh
making people laugh is like, I do that on Instagram also, but it's always nicer to do it on stage
in person?
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. I mean, I've really not done so many shows to kind of crack that yet.
Sure.
So, but
is that part of the vision? I mean,
it is. But the thing is that I think for us, I also feel because I have a full-time job, and then there is this, and I also do a bunch of other things like, I have ads that I shoot for. I'm also part of a couple of other campaigns. So what happens is that for a stand-up comic, especially anybody who's an established comic today, they've done a lot of open mics. There are comics who perform like twice a day. So that's the kind of dedication that art form requires.
More, in fact.
Yeah, exactly. So I met those comics and I see the kind of, how much they nurture the material, and how many times they go on stage, perform the same thing, refine it, redo it. Then eventually after years of performing it, they're like, okay, they finally have 1 hour material, and then they go shoot it, and then, the pitching. So I really feel like it's a little disrespectful to call myself stand-up comedian when there are people who are really doing so much more to that art form. But I enjoy doing it. I enjoy being on stage. I enjoy the limelight of it, and also because I started off doing Kannada stand-up. So that was another thing, because Kannada stand-up is also a fairly new thing, right? Because English and Hindi, of course, has been there for a longer time. So I started doing stand-up comedy in Kannada, where I was like, okay, I get to speak in the language that I'm comfortable one, and also because the relatability factor is much higher.
Connection is much more.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I started off doing a lot of stand-up comedy in Kannada. So it's fun. I've not done one in a long time. So I don't even have like a last reference of what did I do, but it's a part of the vision for sure.
Sonu is a great friend.
Sonu is my best friend.
Yeah. How has that been? And
Sonu and I became friends like in Fever. So she used to be the morning show producer, and I replaced her. She became the afternoon show RJ. Okay. And so much that I knew where she lived, and we kind of lived close by. So I said, we'll travel together. And she's like, okay, cool, let's travel together, save petrol, and all that jazz. So we were like, okay, and 1 hour long journey one way of was like you spend 2 hours on roads. You have to become friends at some point. Yeah. So we call ourselves on the way friends. So that's how that started off, and then we've always stayed. Then of course now we are like the best of friends. There's Sonu and there's Bhuvana. Bhuvana also was at Fever at one point. So all 3 of us had similar jobs also. Okay. So we kind of connected with our like sorrows and happiness, and we are 3 solid group of friends.
So there is this, and you said, okay, there's comedy, there's Mirchi, there is ads.
Yeah.
What else is there?
There's social media content.
Social media content.
Yeah, that is there. And then there is the corporate part of it, the one
What
that
is the
pays,
corporate?
where I do a couple of gigs for corporates
Oh,
and yeah,
okay.
those stuff. And then there is now I've slowly started enjoying doing short films and writing
wow,
short
man.
films as well. So that's another thing that
This
I'm
is
really
really exploring the.
yeah, I'm like whatever comes my way, just pick it up.
Just
You never
keep
know,
exploring.
because that's what my job has taught me, right? Because I managed music in Fever for a very short time, and that suddenly became my main job. Then I started heading programming for a very short time in this one, and that became my main job over here. So I always believe that you pick up something else, and then that becomes a part of your growth, and that might become your new job at another place. So I'm like, okay, that theory kind of works for me. Maybe. So that's why I'm like, pick up whatever comes my way, and then you never know which one will actually, could be my calling. But I still don't know what my calling is.
Yeah, not required to push it. No.
Yeah, I'm just enjoying. I enjoy being on screen. I enjoy being on stage. I enjoy writing. I enjoy being at events. I'm like, just like have fun. That's it.
And what are your parents saying like right now about how things are going?
They are now very happy. They have really like, I think they were very like skeptical in the beginning as to what exactly is this, because nobody in the family has ever ventured
There's
into
no
something
media
like this,
exposure.
right? Yeah, there's no media exposure at all. So everybody has been in a space where it's always been about comfortable jobs and the typical monthly salary system and government jobs also in my case, my dad's case. So it's always been like, okay, job security, safety is the first most important thing, then followed by money, and third about how everything else kind of pans out. So everything else surrounds these two major poles. So then suddenly I'm like, okay, now I want to do this also, and then they're like, okay, fine, it makes sense. Maybe there's something that you can do over here. So
Yeah.
now they're just like, okay, as long as, so now they are very comfortable with the idea of, okay, I go for shoots or something, they're like, okay, fine, go have fun. They watch all my stuff. They read every single comment that pops up on my this one. So it's their evening after tea time, that little break that they have between tea and dinner time, right? Is when my dad and my mom are scrolling through all the comments on my this one, and they even tell me saying that person has commented, you not reply to that comment. I think you should reply to that. So they're like, they're the ones who are handling my social media page.
Your Rizwan reel went viral.
Oh God, yes. 38 million it's sitting on. I'm like,
By the way, you know what happened? So Rizwan's reel, that reel, you remember the reel I'm talking about, no? So I'd already watched that. And then what has happened is Aditya had shared your profile with me quite some time back. I had not opened this thing.
that's what happens with me most of the time.
Okay, I had not opened it. So I had seen the reel.
Correct.
I remember. And then I think me and Aditya were on call, we were figuring out whom to invite. And then we, invited you and things went on. And then I realized you're the same guy.
Same guy.
But the reel went like, was it expected?
Not at all. So that reel was not even a part of the plan, by the way. So Kailash Nayak, who is the director of the short film that I was a part of, and so all of us are like good friends. So we kind of like connect over content. All of us are very crazy about creating content. Kailash, if you should actually meet Kailash, because he's crazy. When I say he's crazy, he's got crazy number of drones. He's a drone engineer, by the way.
Wow.
So he is a very techie kind of a guy, but with a very creative bent of mind, and he understands photography, he understands videos, he understands films, scripts beautifully. And how I know him is actually through a radio interview, and which I had interviewed him long time back on radio, and we had kept in touch, and he reached out to me saying that let's do this film. I did the film, and then we were like, okay, we were always connecting over this one. And same with Prachi also. She also comes with a lot of excitement of doing films, and she just enjoys being on camera. So we met at Prachi's place to shoot another reel, and
Not this one.
Not this was not the part of the plan at all. And both Prachi and I don't speak Dakhini at all. And Kailash was like, I have an idea in mind. Let's try and shoot this. And Prachi, being Prachi, she was like, I don't know, Kailash, I don't know, can we do this? I never spoken this language. So she's sitting with the script, and she's like, trying to break it down as to, okay, I have to say this, I have to say this, I have to say this, I have to say this. And I'm like, I didn't even have that kurta, by the way. That is Prachi's husband's kurta. And I wore that kurta, and they were like, okay, this specs is not going to work. So let's do the surma thing. I was like, okay, cool. I took Prachi's kajal and I applied it like that. I'm like, okay, they were like, okay, convincing enough. So we just sat there. I had to do nothing. I had no dialogues except in the end. So I'm just sitting. I'm like, okay, first call, I'll shake my head like this. Second call, I'm gonna be like, what the hell? Third call, I'm gonna look up and be like, what the hell? So that was all my expression.
Finally, you were like, "Mil rahe bahar."
That's all. That was my only line. That also was improvised last minute. And Kailash was very convincing that this is gonna be a good reel. So trust me on this. So I was like, okay, in Kailash we trust. So we just shot that reel and he assembled it in a day's time and he said, okay, now post it. I said, okay, I'll post it. And next morning, we are like, oh, it's hit 100K. Wow, so cool. We are celebrating for 100K without even realizing that the same evening it's going to hit like 2 billion. And we are still celebrating.
What is it at now?
Now it's at, I think, 38-40 million something. If you count Facebook and Instagram reels. And we were like,
Really?
yeah, like both. And we were just like, what? And the worst part now is that we know for a fact that we'll never be able to beat this. I mean, as much as we would love to, but I don't know if you could.
How many shares?
Give me my phone, I'll tell you. I'll tell you the insights.
This is crazy, boss. I didn't.
Yeah. This was something else.
Shreyas Rao.
See, Prachi's on the feed right now. Yeah, it's at 39.3 million on Insta. It's got 2 million likes. These are numbers.
You can't monetize this stuff, no?
No, I wish.
What? 90? No, 9,18,000 shares.
Yeah.
So you almost have 1 million shares.
Shares, exactly. So this is madness.
And how many followers did you gain out of this?
About 3,500-4,000 something. I don't really like see the number of followers because also it's very different for a collab reel and a viral reel like this. But yeah, of course, we all got our.
So no money through social media yet?
There is money through social media, but it's not through Instagram. It's through branded content. Yeah.
But through Instagram is difficult, no?
I think they've started monetizing in only a few places right now. I'm not sure yet. YouTube I know is monetizable. I'm not on YouTube. But Insta, yes, only through branded content is where money comes from.
What's the content plan now?
There's no plan.
Huh?
There is just the only plan I have is that I want, which is not clearly happening, is that I thought in 2024 I will get rid of the wig because I had done a lot of the mom content and the NRI content and all. I was like, okay, this is great. It's gotten me great number of like people, etc. But I wanted to get out of it. I was like, I really want to be myself now. Like as Shreyas Rao, do a lot of content, but I don't have a content plan, strategy, something. So I'm like, okay, fine. And recently, the thing is that even with the branded content, every time a brand reaches out to me, they're like, but can you do something with your mom? This one character, because her mom character is my favorite character. I'm like, oh god. Okay, again I have to be like, get the wig. This time, so I went a little crazy because a mall wanted to collaborate with me, and they were like, you have to bring the wig to the wall, and you have to like shoot with the wig at the mall because that is the character that we really love, and we want to do something with that character.
Wow,
like, okay,
that's
fine,
a little.
Yeah.
But that's pushing it, I feel.
Yeah, but I'm like, okay, fine. If paying,
that's what, if it's paying, if it's paying, I'll wear a wig.
It's
bangles,
okay. Yeah. Just give me hair and makeup. I'll do it. I'll do whatever. Yeah, but I'm like, okay, fine. If it's something that people really like, and it's not like I'm exaggerating. It's exactly like how my mom is at home also. So I'm like, but the only thing is that because I just feel like it's taking away too much from me. So that's why I'm like, okay, let me just give it a break. But that's not happening anytime soon. So there's no content plan as such. But right now I'm like also when I traveled to South Korea, I did a whole bunch of reels about traveling to South Korea on a budget.
Wow.
That also got me a new kind of followers, and that was I also felt like very. It was also different from the other content I do because this was more information and kind of giving strategy as to how we can do a trip under a lakh to Korea. And Korea is also because of K-pop culture and all that, right? So there's a lot of demand for Korea in general. So that was also interesting. So now I'm like, okay, if I travel, I'll probably do a bunch of travel vlogs, and then I'll do these kind of short films and skits like this. But I always feel like one thing that I know that I will never be able to go away from is the fact that Bangalore will always be the heart of my content. Yeah.
That is where it starts and ends.
Yeah.
Everything else is like...
Because I really feel like as much... I'm gonna sound very like what the hell, but I really love the city.
Yeah.
I cannot get over the fact that I get to live in a city like Bangalore, and every time I travel to work, every time wherever I go, I just feel like I'm a part of such a beautiful culture. I'm part of a city that really is everything. Like even in terms of food, I have never tasted the kind of food that even which is not a South Indian food item. Like even Korean food in Bangalore, there are places that makes it so beautifully. Even North Indian food, there's restaurants that kind of specialize in that. You get everything in the city, and the kind of events that we have. Like I don't think any other city has like a Avrekal Mela happening.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's so beautiful. Like a peanut
That's
festival is so
really-
cool.
yeah.
So I'm like, when a city has the nice traditions, there's culture, but there's also like openness to learn something new. There is also like the whole big city life kind of stuff happening. You get it all over
It's a
here.
mixture.
Yeah, so I'm like, this is where I would want to always be, and this will always be a part of my content. This is a part of my being.
Wow.
Wow.
This was no, this was sweet, man.
I genuinely love the city, and it's only when I moved out of the city I realized how much when I would land from Bangalore to Mumbai, like I would take the last flight out of Bombay at like 9:30, 10 o'clock in the night, and I'm sitting in the flight, and just like the minute I land to Bangalore, I felt like a different person. The minute you get out of the gate, that the good cool breeze of Bangalore hits your face, and you're like, wow, this is what I want to breathe. So it's literally that filmy. Like I used to be like, wow, I'm in Bangalore. So it's like take every single picture and be like, I'm in Bangalore. It was literally like that.
wow.
And it still feels like that.
Nice. I think for someone who loves Bangalore, we are glad to have interviewed you equally, because I think we are personally like in love with the city, and we tell people all the time there's so much, you're trying to dream outside.
Yeah.
Dream in Bangalore.
Of course.
And see where it takes you.
Exactly. And there's
There's so
space for everybody
much.
over here also.
Yeah, there's so much you can take, and you can live your entire life and there'll be things left to do.
Yeah, exactly. Like
This is the reality.
another thing that I really want to do is I want to do another whole series about just idlis of Bangalore, because I love idlis so much.
Wow,
I want to be
that'd be
able
nice.
to go to every single restaurant in Bangalore just to try their idli. I know it's half of it's probably going to taste the same in some places, but I just want to try it out.
No. The chutney is where.
Yeah, the chutney and sambar is where the
the
difference
game
is.
starts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, Shreyas. Thanks
Thank
for doing
you.
this, man.
This is so much fun.
I'm glad. I mean, I hope you liked.
Yeah, I can keep talking. I can keep going on.
No, this was awesome, Shreyas.
Thank
I mean, for us, more than like, and we say this all the time, more than the episode is just like getting to meet you and
Yeah, it's
getting
always
to know
fun to
you.
meet new
And this
people,
is, I mean, I'm sure we'll work more on
We should.
a lot of other things, but I think there's a good start to everything.
Yeah, and also I made it to the second podcast, so I'm gonna put this on my resume.
No, man. I spent like a good amount of time going through your journey yesterday, and I was like, wow, this is.
But where's so much information, by the way? Like, I really don't.
Well,
know.
you have 1,100 and I don't know what posts. So
You have to scroll really like.
I went all the way to your first picture, bro. I went all the way to your first picture and I
Wow.
started scrolling.
So much research nobody has ever done. I have not gone back to my first picture. I'm sure it was something very stupid.
It took me quite some time, but it went faster a few times because it was just like food.
Yeah, there was a time when I used to do a lot of food photography.
Yeah.
I thought that was my calling. And then I was like, no, I want to look like a snack myself. I just photograph myself. So, yeah.
Wow. Thanks, man.
Thank you so much.
We should do this again.
We should, yeah.
I think this is a start, and this was just you being you. I think we can talk about like so many other things.
For sure. I would love to. I would love to talk.
Let's do a part 2
Yes.
another time.
Part 2. If people want part 2, comment. 1,000 likes and I'm going to shoot this again.
Let's hope for that. So this was Shreyas for all of you. I hope you got to see a side of him that you hadn't before. And if you liked it, like he said, let us know. Shreyas, any final message?
Any final message? Just keep. Message for whom, by the way? सबके लिए या फिर for people, for anybody watching, I think I'm like as wholesome as Idli and as amazing as Bangalore, so please follow me.
There you go. This was episode number 90 of On a Personal Note with Adarsh Sakare. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you.